The old man just splashed some water at the man across from him. And then something strange happened. The building started to shake. Cracks appeared in the ground. The residents were terrified, and people on the streets scattered in panic. At that moment, the building began to sink. The older man was stunned by what he saw. He had only splashed a little water. Surely it couldn't have caused something this terrifying. The man waved for help from the old man, but the building was sinking too fast and disappeared from the ground within seconds. Then, the building plummeted at a speed of 120 miles per hour, with countless pieces of debris falling from the sky. Half an hour later, the building finally came to a stop. It turned out to be stuck in midair. A car had fallen down along with it, and by this time, the owner of the car was already scared out of his wits. At this moment, the man in the suit's phone rang. But suddenly, the car lost its balance and crashed directly onto the roof of the building. Although the man narrowly escaped, the car wasn't done with him yet. Teeth slid toward him. The man lifted both legs and, using all his strength, actually managed to kick the car away. But while he escaped one danger, another was just around the corner. A landslide buried it underneath. At this moment, the luxury car slid into the 8th floor bedroom. When the uncle saw someone inside the car, he hurried to pull the car door open, but the car was still sliding outward. At the critical moment there was a snap. The uncle actually pulled the door handle right off. The man in the suit panicked even more, fumbling in fear. Unexpectedly, with a snap, the inside door handle also broke off, and the house was still shaking. By accident, the man in the suit pressed the window switch, and it turned out the window mechanism was still working. At this moment, the uncle heard cries for help and rushed over to rescue him. Meanwhile, the man on the rooftop used all his strength to slowly crawl out from the dirt. Looking around, this building must be over 10 kilometers tall. Otherwise, a size 52 leather shoe falling at a speed of 100 kilometers per second would have landed with a snap, but it missed its mark. The man tried to stand up by holding onto the railing, and with another snap, something broke again. As the camera zoomed out, a massive sinkhole appeared next to the residential complex. At this moment, Florence dispatched helicopters to the scene, preparing to rescue those trapped. But strangely, flames kept spewing from the mouth of the pit. When the fire finally stopped, Florence decided to send in a drone to investigate, but the drone lost signal halfway down. The people inside the pit were overjoyed when they saw the drone fall in, because it meant someone outside was trying to save them. Meanwhile, Florence decided to have the rescue team go down in person. But before they had descended very far, loose rocks at the mouth of the pit began to fall continuously. Unfortunately, Fobo could only pull the rescue team back up. After working hard for so long, there was still no progress at all. The families on the ground were so worried that they had no appetite to eat. But those trapped in the sinkhole found a beggar's chicken and happily started eating together. But if nothing unexpected happens, then something unexpected is bound to occur. Suddenly, the building that was stuck in midair began to tilt and plummeted downward at a speed of 120 kilometers per second. The man in the suit was immediately thrown to the edge. At this critical moment, the girl spotted the power line not far away, so she dashed toward it without hesitation. But suddenly, a huge rock came crashing down toward her. Seeing this, the girl gripped with both hands, and to her surprise, she was lifted into the air. Everyone nearby was stunned, but the rock almost took out the man in the suit. The girl wrapped the power line around a pole, then threw the other end to the man in the suit. Everyone pulled upward with all their might. If nothing unexpected happened, something unexpected was bound to happen. With a sudden snap, the power line broke in two. Due to the strong inertia, the man fell straight into the cesspit. There seemed to be something in the mud. Suddenly, a hand reached up, then another, and with another squelch. The son saw his father and shouted excitedly, "Dad!" At that moment, the girl threw down a power line, and the man managed to grab it. Everyone worked together, trying to pull the man up, but the son's uncle, anxious to help, leapt up and made a dramatic jump down as well. His lack of intelligence was enough to make anyone fume with anger. Because the power line couldn't support the weight of two people, it snapped immediately. To keep his son from sinking, the father held his son's face up with both hands, but the dirt still rose over the father's mouth. It looked like the father and son were about to meet their end. At that moment, the uncle had a sudden idea. He ran downstairs, smashed the window glass with a stool, and let the dirt flow into the room from outside, narrowly escaping disaster. At that moment, the suddenly fallen drone regained its signal and flew out of the hole on its own. The families outside, seeing that their loved ones were still alive, were both overjoyed and heartbroken. Fobo immediately organized the rescue team to drop supplies and a satellite phone into the sinkhole, and the rescue operation finally made some progress. But as the saying goes, if nothing unexpected happens, then something unexpected will definitely happen. A building next to the sinkhole also began to tilt. So the rescue workers quickly used steel bars to stabilize it and started cutting into the building to change the direction in which it would collapse. But by nightfall, the building still collapsed into the sinkhole, causing a wave of panic among everyone. Fortunately, the building ended up getting stuck in midair. At this point, spring water kept pouring into the pit, and it was still pouring rain outside. If this continued, everyone would die here. Just as everyone was at a loss, a bucket floated over. As long as they could find enough floating objects, they wouldn't sink. Everyone hurried to gather anything that could float, and just then, the largest bucket appeared before everyone, and without much time to think, they all rushed inside. But when it was Dashan's turn, he refused, because someone had to stay outside to put the lid on the bucket. Before anyone could react, Dashan quickly screwed on the lid. At that moment, water from all around flooded in, quickly submerging everything. The building that was stuck in midair also began to fall at this time.
I see now.
The large barrel was being pressed down by the building, and several men pushed the woman into the barrel, followed by the children. Because the area was about to be flooded, just as Dashan finished putting the lid on the barrel, the building above collapsed. Datong was being pressed down by the building, and just as he was about to hit the ground, he slipped out from the side. But as he was rising, Datong got tangled in some electrical wires and was left hanging in midair. Everyone inside the barrel was terrified and panicked. You need to start hitting Datong. Everyone came over to help, and finally, by jumping together, they managed to break free from the tangled wires. But as Datong slowly rose, the speed began to increase more and more. With a sudden whoosh, a steel pipe pierced through, and a large amount of water started pouring into the barrel. But it was hard for the people inside to climb out. At this critical moment, everyone heard a knocking sound from outside. It turned out Dashan wasn't dead. He kicked Datong hard and finally managed to pull him out. But the water was flooding in even faster. The man in the suit gritted his teeth and punched with all his strength. He used his arm to block, and everyone managed to catch their breath. Meanwhile, outside, Dashan tried to grab onto the barrel to float up together, but Datong was rising too quickly, and Dashan sank down in despair. But good things happened to good people. A power line wrapped around Dashan's ankle, and the two of them quickly floated up together. However, just as they broke the surface, the other end of Datong also started leaking. Everyone was so shocked that they froze. Apart from shouting for help, no one thought of trying to plug the leak. Soon, the water rose up to their necks. At this critical moment, Dashan appeared again, and at the same time, the rescue team spotted them. In the end, everyone was safely rescued. In the face of hardship, humans may seem insignificant, but family, love, and friendship make us incredibly strong. A commentary can never replace the original film. A good movie is worth watching in its entirety. I'm KK. If you enjoyed this, please follow me. Thank you.